Hello everyone, my name is Blue, and we're here today with some entitled parent posts. Hitting you with the best of the worst in parenting. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. And with that, let's get into it. Entitled parent decides to mess with me in the checkout line. I finally had my Karen in the Wild experience yesterday morning. I live in the southeastern US, and we have a popular small box retailer here with a yellow sign and black letters. They are all over the rural South, and in many places act as grocery and general stores to the community. I needed to stop and get an item for my vehicle before I ran morning errands, so I dropped in at our local neighborhood store, found the item and a couple of other things I wanted, and got in line. I am very conscientious about wearing a mask when I go out, and steering very clear of those who don't. The line was fairly long for a Saturday morning, and I was then third or fourth customer in line. This store funnels all customers into a sort of tunnel lined with impulse purchases. Lighters, candy, magazines, small toys, that sort of thing, for checkout. And there are 3 cashier stations along the line. Only one was manned at that point. The customer in front of me was a late 30-ish woman with a young daughter who looked to be 10 or so. This was entitled mom and okay kid. Kid wasn't so bad. She had on a cute dog face mask, but entitled mom wasn't wearing a mask at all. She was pushing a half-full cart of items. Okay Kid asked for a candy bar, and entitled mom says it's okay. Okay Kid reaches for a nearby bar of candy. Then entitled mom starts looking at the candy, scanning the rows, and her eyes find what she wants near where I am standing. Luckily, the person behind me was not only standing at least 6 feet back, but had a cart between us as well. So as the entitled mom came toward me, I started backing away. She kept coming closer, and I kept backing up, which she noticed. When my butt hit the cart behind me, she smiled at me and said, "Looks like you're trapped," and kept coming toward me. Well, I walk with a cane. At that point, I raised the cane so that it was between us and said, "Please stop coming toward me. You aren't wearing a mask." She stopped and laughed, then said, "Are you going to hit me with your cane, old lady?" I glared at her and said, "If you come any closer, I will. I'm feeling very threatened." She laughed again, then put her hand up to her ear and said, "What? Couldn't hear you. Say again. Your mask is making it hard to understand you." And laughing. Then her daughter started laughing too. About that time, another employee came over to open the second register, which I was standing directly in front of. Usually they say, "I can help the next customer here." But instead she said, "I can ring you up, ma'am," to me. I put my purchases down on the counter and she reached for the first item to scan. Entitled mom said, "Hey, wait, I was next," and started backing up toward me again with her cart in tow. The cashier said, "Ma'am, you have already passed me. The next cashier will have to take care of you." Entitled mom didn't like this, but turned back forward to see the first cashier had finished ringing up the customer in front of entitled mom and had turned her station light off, signaling that she was closed. Entitled mom said, "Hey, where are you going? You haven't rung me up." The first cashier said, "Sorry, I'm scheduled for my break now, and I will get written up if I don't go on time," and walked away and out the door. Entitled mom is now fuming and turns back to the second cashier. Entitled mom waits for my cashier to be done with my purchase, then starts to back up again. This makes it impossible for me to leave as we are in that tunnel, and I said, "Ma'am, you are going to have to go forward and leave the tunnel so I can get out." She stops and says, "Oh, just squeeze by me. You act like I have the plague or something." I looked directly at her and said, "As far as I'm concerned, you do." She huffed and pushed her cart forward and out of the tunnel, and I was able to squeeze by her safely. Behind me, I heard the cashier start ringing up the customer behind me, who had a pretty full cart. And I turned and saw that the line behind me had 5 people in it now. The entitled mom yelled, "Hey, I was next!" And as I was going out the door, she turned her buggy back into the tunnel the wrong way. Then I heard the cashier say, "Ma'am, you can't come back in here the wrong way. You have to get back in line." Unintelligible barking came from the entitled mom as I went out the door. I admit it, I was grinning behind the mask. As I was getting into my vehicle, the first cashier was around the corner of the store having a smoke break. She finished her cigarette, put it in the ash post, and said, "I hate people like that. We love screwing with them. Sorry she bothered you." I laughed out loud at that point and said, "Hey, this will make a good story for Reddit." She laughed too and went on in the store. No idea what entitled mom did after that, but I noticed as I passed her when I left the store that she was wearing a scrub top for a local pediatrician's office. I think I might make a phone call on Monday asking them how they feel about one of their staff terrorizing those in the community who choose to wear a mask and socially distance. Man, entitled people like that don't have the plague, they are the plague. Just be nice. Entitled parents kicked off United plane because their kid won't listen out on a mask. Mom makes crying video and lies about being banned. Entitled mom makes the news for posting a video of herself crying after being booted off a United flight because her spoilt child refused to put on a mask for a flight. The United guidelines are clear that children 2 years and up have to wear a mask. The child is 2 years old. The parents were not flying to anywhere urgent, for example, a sick relative or funeral. They were literally flying in a pandemic to have dinner with family. They did not have to fly and also could have drove knowing that their child is difficult and that United Airlines has these rules. The mom lied in her video about being banned from the airline for life. United Airlines responded and said that she was never banned and their tickets were refunded. Parents need to discipline their children in public. What they do in their own household is their business, but they should not be letting their spoilt kids act however they want in public in a pandemic. They knew they were flying and that masks are mandatory. They should have been training their kid to wear one weeks before the flight. But apparently, the mom is a COVID denier. In the video, the dad even says, "COVID has a 99% survival rate." Tell that to hundreds of thousands dead. And anti-masker. Surprise, surprise! Your kid that you have trained to be mask-averse with your attitudes won't wear a mask. It looks like this woman is gearing up for a lawsuit. Why was she filming instead of helping her kid? Incredibly selfish entitlement to fly unnecessarily during a pandemic and then refuse to follow public safety guidelines. I hope they don't make a single cent. And while we're out there trying to make vaccines, maybe we should make a vaccine for entitlement. And that's all the entitled parents we have time for today. Thanks for listening. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. It helps us out a lot. All right, everyone. I'll catch you later.